Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to be notified of the latest videos. I'm SHV kalkinemedia. Thanks for joining us yet again on our trending topic. Today we're covering 4 agricultural stocks to look at amid the rising crop prices: SHV, GNC, WOA and DBF. The Australian Bureau of Agricultural and Resource Economics and Sciences, or ABARES, has predicted gross value of Australia's agricultural production to reach 73 billion Australian dollars in 2021 to 2022. And this would be the first time the agricultural gross value exceeds 70 billion Australian dollars. The value of crop production is expected to hit 39.5 billion Australian dollars at a growth rate of 7%, driven by solid price increases for grains, cotton and sugar. Labour shortages during the seasonal harvest, however, may pose an additional challenge in creating pressure for businesses looking to secure temporary workers. Against this backdrop, let us now take a look at 4 agricultural stocks. Select Harvests Limited, or SHV. Select Harvests is a fully integrated almond business. It released its market update on the 2021 crop, the existing market solutions and the sale of the Lucky and Sunswell brands. The full-year crop shipments issued by the Almond Board of California July report from August to 2020 to July 2021 increased by 22.2% compared to the prior year. And further, the Almond Board of Australia year-to-date March to June reported exports shipments growth of 44.5%. It confirmed that the demand continues to stay strong and the crops are advancing well. However, the company feels that shipping remains a challenge as access to shipping is tough to India and China. On the 16th of September 2021, SHV closed at Australian dollars 0.32 cents. This is down 0.121% from the previous close. GrainCorp Limited, or GNC. GrainCorp Limited is an integrated grain and edible oils business. On the 12th of August 2021, the company provided its financial year 2021 guidance. It increased its underlying EBITDA range from its previous 255 million to 285 million to 310 to 330 million. It increased the NPAT guidance range from 80 million to 105 million, up to 125 to 140 million Australian dollars. The upgraded financial year 2021 guidance indicates the robust performance of its East Coast Australian grains business after the super 20 to 21 harvest. Post-harvest winter receivables plus elevated summer receivables and the positive outlook for winter crop resulted in robust export volumes, forward contracted sales, along with supply chain margins. July 2021 was the best month of contracted sales on record, and the company anticipates that the total exports for financial year 21 would be at the top end of the earlier expectations. On 16th September 21, GNC closed at Australian dollars 6.52, up 0.307% from the previous close. Wide Open Agriculture Limited, or WOA. Australia's leading regenerative food, beverage and agricultural company, Wide Open Agriculture Limited, reported 212% growth in its revenue from ordinary activities to 4.744 million Australian dollars. However, it experienced a significant loss of 406% during financial year 21 to 7.530 million Australian dollars compared to the previous corresponding period. And during financial year 21, the company achieved some key milestones. Please check out the full report available to read on Kalkine's website for more information. By the end of financial year 21, the company had net cash of 12.9 million Australian dollars, and on the 16th of September 2021, WOA closed flat at 0.775 Australian dollars. Duxton Broadacre Farms Limited. Duxton Broadacre Farms is an ASX-listed entity offering investors with exposure to a diversified portfolio of high-quality efficient Australian farms. And in the financial year 21, the company reported a 68.29% growth in total revenue to 21.272 million Australian dollars. It made a massive growth of 195.91% in its net profit to 1.406 million Australian dollars. Pasture across the aggregation remains to grow well, backed by the heavy rain, and in the announcement, DBF highlighted that calving was progressing well. Lamb marking was mostly complete after some delays from wet weather, and the lambing rate was 140% around most of the flock. On 16th September 2021, DBF closed at $1.59, which is 0.632% up from the previous close. So what next? Due to extreme weather conditions in Canada and Russia, wheat production was impacted. Amid these situations, it would be exciting to see how Australia would position itself to meet the rising demand of the crop to the rest of the world. Thanks for joining us on the report, and if you like the information, please like, share, comment on the video below, subscribe to the channel, and if you press the bell icon, you'll be notified of Kalkine's most recent videos. But for more information and regular updates, head to the website kalkinemedia.com, where you'll find the rest of this article. Sage here for Kalkine Media.